It wasn't very hard for them to not notice it.
Yeah.
So the police, understandably, weren't too happy about the large amount of guns and marijuana that they found. And the police were able to arrest a handful of cult members who were just died around the ranch at the time. They took them in for interrogation, and surprisingly, all of them spilled the beans immediately.
Really?
Yeah, but not in like the scared way.
Like in a cocky way, like he was.
Yeah. So they were confidently and condescendingly telling the police all about the rituals and the powers that they've been given.
Why? I don't get it.
I think it's one of those things where they think that they're superior than anyone else, and like they're above the law, and they have some sort of
like an invincible sort of thing.
Yeah, like they've got some sort of divine power above all other beings, and they're just talking to them like they are like ants on the street, and they're just like, yes, arrest us, we've done this marvelous thing, and it'll be you who will suffer when you are in hell. It's like that kind of thing, isn't it? But they're just
so dumb.
They're just fucking dumb and freaky, but not in a cool way.
Freaky deaky.
The next morning, the police returned to the ranch, this time, I believe, with a full-on warrant. They returned in force to conduct an even more thorough search. They discovered Adolfo's Nganga, brimming with blood, spiders, scorpions, and a dead black cat. There was also a large turtle shell, bones, deer antlers, and a human brain.
Ugh.
Sounds like a right.
Stew,
yeah. Yeah, really, that's fuck. Captive cult members confidently and proudly showed the cops around, eventually coming across Adolfo's private cemetery. It's as if they were like, I'm picturing them as if they're like giving them a tour. Like, and this is where
my cauldron.
This is my cauldron. This is the weed.
And through this door is the guns.
This is our guns. A full excavation began.
Oh, sorry, before you carry on. Like the Vogue thing, what all the...
like the 20...
Emma Stone did
22 questions or something?
Yeah, kind of like that.
With 22 questions with Adolfo Constanzo. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. That would be a great parody. A full excavation of his cemetery, his private cemetery, began, revealing 15 mutilated corpses, including that of Mark Kilroy. So the search for Mark Kilroy come to a close, yes. But obviously the fact that they found the body of this smart guy put two and two together, and they realised, this crime thing is bigger than what we think. We've got some unsolved disappearances like this that, this guy could have done a lot of things. The hunt for Adolfo was now on, because he wasn't currently at the ranch. He did have a luxury home of his own in a place called Atazapan? Atizipan?
Mazapan.
It sounds like a mazapan. Atazapan, which was just outside Mexico City. So it doesn't sound like he always lived at that ranch, actually.
Okay.
Sounds like he did live in quite...
To be fair, with the money that he's got.
Yeah, he's probably moved out of the ranch, left all the little peasants to deal with that shit, live with the scorpions, and he's in his luxury home. This was on April 17th, where they discovered huge stockpiles of gay pornography and a hidden ritual chamber, apparently. So yeah, I'm wondering, just stockpile of gay pornography? How much would constitute a stockpile? Like a room full? like hoarders?
Like hoarders.
Yeah, hoarders, but for porn.
Like that old woman who's in she's just lying down in like a bunch of newspapers.
Yeah,
but
it's
just porn.
Just gay porn magazine.
Just lying like that, cackling.
Little old lady just surrounded by gay porn magazines. I would enjoy that episode.
I love that clip
of her just showing her magazines.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? I didn't even bother to look what the magazines were on that video. Maybe they are fucking gay porn magazines.
Could be.
Could be. The discoveries at Rancho Santa Elena made international headlines, and rightly so. And sightings of Adolfo were reported as far away as Chicago, but in fact he'd actually already returned to Mexico City, hiding out in a separate small apartment with his head witch Sarah and 3 other disciples.
What about the other 2? His boyfriends?
They are one of them is one of the 3 disciples here. On May 2nd, things took a turn for the unexpected as Sarah, perhaps having a sudden realization that what she was doing was totally fucked up, she tossed a note out the window. It's all purely selfish, this though. Like, this is just to save her own fucking puss. It read,
can I just say, I think she's gonna put, she's been captured, she's been held against the will sort of thing.
You, my friend, may be correct. Let's have a little look. So the letter here reads, please call the judicial police. Please call the judicial police and tell them that in this building are those that they are seeking. Give them the address, 4th floor. Tell them that a woman is being held hostage. I beg for this, because what I want most is to talk, or they're going to kill the girl. Did you get it?
Going to kill the girl?
She's talking about herself.
Yeah, but why? So she's written that letter that she's somebody else?
Yeah, she's done exactly what you've said, but just put herself out.
She's a third person.
Yeah, she's done it as if the letter's been written about her from someone else. So she's done it so you guessed completely right. A passerby found the note and kept it to himself, believing it to be a prank. So the letter thing didn't work. On May 6th, neighbours called police to complain of a loud argument in the apartment, though, when some were saying that it was also accompanied by gunshots. So they were causing, for some people who were trying to keep quiet, they were kicking up a bit of a fuss.
Yeah.
So obviously the police were called, and then they go to investigate. As soon as the police arrive on the scene, Adolfo pops out from his window with an Uzi, starting an all-out battle across the car park. Miraculously, only 1 policeman was actually wounded. None of them actually died. After a 45-minute gun battle, Adolfo realized that escape was impossible. Adolfo took his finger off the trigger and handed his weapon to his disciple Alvaro de Leon Valdez. Adolfo had given many strange and peculiar demands to his disciples over the years. However, nobody was prepared for what would be Adolfo's final command.
Ooh.
He screamed at Alvaro to kill him. When Alvaro refused, Adolfo punched him in the face, telling him that if he didn't, everything would go wrong for him and he'd be going to hell. Adolfo turned towards his boyfriend Martin Rodriguez, who was with him at the time, and as the two took one last embrace, Alvaro fulfilled his final command. Pulling the trigger on the Uzi, bullets ripped through the 2 men's bodies, killing both Martin and Adolfo in a matter of seconds.
Why did he kill Martin, though?
That's where he wanted to go. He wanted to take him with him. He obviously thought he was going to some other place, and that their life and their soul would carry on beyond the physical plane. So they wanted to go together.
Wow.
Heavy, right? I told you, this thing should be made into a fucking movie. As police stormed the apartment, they found the 2 men's bodies slumped in a pool of blood in the bathroom. The other cult members were immediately arrested and would each go to serve between 35 to 40 years in prison. It's a long time, baby.
That is a long time. Jeez.
But they all fucking deserved it.
No, definitely, yeah.
However, Sarah Alderete would be the exception to this. Due to the multiple confessions of the other cult members outing her as one of the leaders of the group, the police were able to convict Sarah of multiple murder charges, receiving 60 years in prison. So she received more.
Why 60 years, though? Why not life?
I don't fucking know. Police in Mexico are still uncertain of the final body count, For a while, some officers looking to quickly close a case would blame missing persons and murder cases on Adolfo posthumously. In 1989, Martin Quintana's sister told police that she was sure Adolfo had actually had another head witch before Sarah, and that she was still at large, practicing her blood magic in Guadalajara. Could it be true that Adolfo's cult is still going strong, hiding in small pockets of the world? With more than 26,000 unsolved missing persons cases in Mexico as of 2015, could another Palo Mayombe cult have merged in the wake of Adolfo's death? A new temple found in Monterrey, Mexico may have the answer. That, my friends, is the story of Adolfo Jesus Constanzo, aka the Witch Doctor. And your face is priceless.
What?
I told you this thing fucking reads like a movie. It's got like the cliffhanger and everything.
What the fuck?
Crazy days, right? Crazy days. This literally
giving goosebumps.
The pacing of, I mean, obviously I have something to play in terms of how I've probably structured the way it's been told this time, but just, you couldn't write a more perfect movie script for this weird crime voodoo movie. Like, it's like Scarface but with fucking voodoo, and it's like true crime.
Wow.
I mean, you've got like this guy growing up and this sort of abuse kind of thing going on as a kid. Then you've got all that other shit and the crime bosses. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the big climax with the fucking gunpowder at the end with the Uzi. And then the rest. And then the cliffhanger of the new temple found. How fucking crazy is that?
So that is just jaw dropping.
That is a good, very interesting story.
Very, yeah.
And it works very well as a story as well, which, you know, I'm a big fan of. I love it when these things play out like stories rather than just facts.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You might not know the answer to this though, but
I probably don't.
When you said about this new temple that's been found,
yeah,
do you know anything about that at all?
Well, this place, Monterrey, Mexico, I'm sure that location was mentioned previously in either something we've talked about on the podcast or a video I've done, and I've been trying to look for it. Every time I bring up Monterrey Temple found, it comes up with fucking like mosques and things. But there is one thing that I did find. I did find one thing which seems to coincide a little bit with both this story and the fact of this temple. And there is a lady called Magdalena Solis, and she was known as the High Priestess of Blood. She was a member of a Mexican cult responsible for orchestrating several murders, which involved the drinking of the victim's blood. She was eventually convicted of 50 years in prison. It seems like this is the only thing I can sort of find. I mean, this is...
But it's like a link to it.
Where it's linked, yeah. I mean, this is where, from what I can see, I mean, this is more sort of like sex slavey sort of thing. I mean, it looks like a very interesting story, to be honest with you. But I think this might be the one. I think the High Priestess of Blood may be the one.
Hmm.
Oh fuck! Look, yes, it fucking is the one. Sorry, I just give it a quick Google. The Hernandez brothers. So this bitch was linked to that crime family as well somehow. Okay, I've not fully researched that. I just quickly scanned through that on Google, but that looks like that is the fucking case.
Sure.
So there was another cult, but more sexual from literally the quick glimpse I just looked at. It looked like they were talking about sex orgies and things. So yeah, there was. So who knows? There could be more. This whole cult thing. This fucking spreads like a virus, man. Such a good story. If I haven't said it about 1,000 times already. Okay, so let's do our usual. This might be a hard one to do. Obviously, we haven't gone through so many like victims' names and things on this because, I couldn't find them all, and a lot of the bodies were unidentified, but we just know that there was a lot of fucking bones and shit. But for anyone whose families were affected by this, especially, Mark Kilroy, fuck's sake, and
not especially.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, it's the only name that we really know, I guess. And